welcome. This is Dr. Hank, and it's Agent Wealth Success. And the beginning part of this is going to be for everybody. So if you're listening right now, hang on that you're going to have fun with this. We're using some new technology, and why we were kind of hesitant a little on, hey, what's going on here is we're using a new system called StreamYard.com, and it's like the next step from Zoom, and that's why there's blessings in everything. And what's happening in the world right now is if we can just give it a little ease and just look at it as really what this is just change. And that if we look at, hey, there's some changes, and with every change there is opportunities. And so with this change, this was a big change that we've had, and we're all in our homes right now and whatever. And so with this big change comes big opportunities. And so just a couple of examples of that. We're using the new technology to be able to share this good news with other people. And even better yet is we have a very special guest with us, and his name is Jim Remley. And Jim, if you look at his resume, it is like Mr. Real Estate on there. And as you know, Agent Wealth Success, we help agents and brokers to increase their business and their wealth. And Jim has gone to the next level of this. In fact, he has erealestatecoach.com. So everything is getting virtual, and this whole event, if you will, these changes have helped us to become virtual. But Jim is like the top 1% of realtors in America. He's also a broker, has done 150 listings a year. Top 1% office brokerage in Oregon. He's a co-founder of Luxury Home Council, and so he's all about luxury homes. So it's not only is he doing a lot of listings, but worth a lot of each one of those listings. And he helps transform agents and brokers into really building that business, and everything what we're about, he's about, and that's why we're so aligned with this. And he also wrote a book. He's an author like I am, The Path to Real Estate Zen. And of course, I'm into Zen and all that, so that is great. And he has erealestatecoach.com. So I would encourage you to go there. And with that, Jim, good morning, and thank you so much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure, my friend. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be on the program.
Well, fantastic. And so can you share with us on what are some of the keys, especially now? Do you have some? And we didn't rehearse this. We didn't have anything. That it is wide open, folks. And so the question really is, that hey, the world has changed, and so how can we take advantage of this? And how can you help us take advantage of where we are and turn this, if you will, turn these lemons into lemonade?
Absolutely. So I always like to tell my agents that, this is a zero-sum game we're dealing with real estate. And what I mean by a zero-sum game is that there's always going to be winners, and when you have winners, you have losers. And on the flip side, when there's losers, there's winners, right? And when we're going through a crisis like this, it's easy to get kind of focused on the negativity. It's easy to get focused on what's going wrong, not what's going right. You're looking at the day-to-day, minute by minute, second by second, blow by blow of what's happening around the world, and you get really focused on that. Yeah. But there is true opportunity in this market. There's more millionaires and billionaires created during times of Great Recession and Great Depression than at any other time. So when you look at this, you got to say to yourself, if I were to go into a time machine 5 years from now and look back, I bet I would say that there was a bunch of opportunities I should be taking advantage of. And how I know that is I've been in the business 30 years. Yeah. So I started when I was 19. I know I look like I'm 22, but I started when I was 19.
Just a couple of years in the business.
Just a couple of years, yeah. And I've been through many recessions, and I've been through some great big events. Definitely the .com bust, 9/11, the Great Recession, and several mini recessions in between those things.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that after each one of them, going back to, let's just say, the Great Recession, the one nearest us,
Yeah.
if you were going to look at it and say, geez, I wish I would have bought every piece of real estate I could have in 2009,
Right.
because I know since then home prices have gone up 59%. The
Right.
same thing is going to be true right now
Yeah.
for us. Is there's opportunities in this market. We just got to identify them.
You bet, you bet. And so, can you help us on, like, what is the path to get to those opportunities, or what is the strategy, or can
Sure.
you give us some techniques, or what do you think, if we had that crystal ball and based on all of your experience and you being just this top agent broker, and I mean, real estate, the man that knows is right with us, folks. And I would take notes on this. And so, what are some of the answers, some of the solutions for us for those opportunities? What are those opportunities?
So when you're looking at your market today, here's one thing that every agent should do just to encourage themselves is look at your hot sheet today and look at it and say to yourself, what's happening right now in my market? And you should be looking at this every day. And you're going to see trends, and you're going to see opportunities, and you're going to see market shift. And the idea here is that I want to look for the opportunities to help people, and where is the greatest need for me to step in and help people. Because in any market, no matter how dire it is, it's never going to zero. There's still going to be real estate trading hands. So I'm going to give you some really key opportunities.
Okay.
I'll give you one I just came across this weekend, which is just like super relevant, like right now for those of you that are watching live to this.
We love it.
Yeah, and so this is very relatable to me because I own a couple of I own a lot of real estate investments, but I own a couple Airbnbs, so vacation rentals.
Yeah.
So vacation rentals are being hammered by this event, myself included, where we're seeing basically all reservations being canceled, no reservations coming online. And you look at this and you can say, where's an opportunity here? The opportunity for me to help someone is to reach out and connect with people that own Airbnbs. And when I say Airbnbs, I mean vacation rentals, right?
Right.
And you can help them in 3 different key ways. And so my conversation would be, first of all, I go on Airbnb in your local market, identify all those properties that are out there and reach out. And my conversation with those people would be simply this: hey, listen, my name is Jim Remley. I'm with ABC Real Estate. Doing some deep research this morning, I noticed that you own a vacation rental. I'm just wondering how the COVID crisis is impacting you guys. Have you felt a pinch from it? They're going to say yes, of course. And you can say, well, there's 3 things I'm really just would love to mention to you really quick. I don't want to keep you on the phone very long, but one is I do have investors that are in the market buying investment properties right now. So if it's on your radar at any point to sell, I mean, I could certainly love to talk to you about that. If not, and you're on the other side of the fence and you think maybe this is an opportunity to pick up some more units, I'm here to help. I'm doing what I'm doing right now, talking to people just like you. I'm going to run into some great buys. So I'd love to talk to you that way. So you're not a seller, you're a buyer, right? And third, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, and this is where you step in, and even if they tuned you out for the first 2, they'll tune you in for this, which is, and I don't know if you've heard it yet, but Airbnb has put together a $250 million fund, $250 million to help people that like yourself own Airbnbs. I can send you the link if you're interested in checking that out. And then you send the link. So there's no way they can say no to that, right? One of those 3.
God, that is just great. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm kind of looking down, I'm writing, and hopefully all of you are out there writing. And I'm a mental scientist, and I know to be able to, when you write it down, it's the way to really start locking it in. And then afterwards, I want you to review this and identify some of the just amazing. I mean, this is just an amazing opportunity right here that Jim has provided us, and to then take inspired action on it. So I want you to write that list, and then whichever one sounds great. So that I just love. Do you have another one?
Oh yeah, for sure. I got many more. We could go all day. So another key one right now, and you look at people that have a need, right? That's what we're identifying. In a typical market, right? In a typical real estate market, let's say in November, December, January, February. By the way, we entered this crisis is super strong in real estate. In February of 2020 was the strongest real estate month since February of 2007. 13 years. This is the strongest month we've had. So coming into this, super strong, and real estate's going to lead the way back out. This is not 2008. That's just one big message for everybody. Completely different market environment, and we're going to walk out of this. It's going to be a V-shaped recovery. We're going to do very well. But another opportunity is investors that own real estate that's not Airbnbs, just typical investor. So you're an investor like myself, who owns a bunch of other rental properties. In many areas of the country, there are eviction moratoriums that have been put in place. So an eviction moratorium would be like where I live in Oregon. There's a 90-day eviction moratorium. And what that means is that you cannot, as an owner of a property, evict somebody for non-payment of rent. And that's true in a lot of states and a lot of municipalities across the country. That's been implemented. So right now, this week is your best time ever to call an investor, like ever. And the reason is there's so much angst. There's investor angst, and the angst comes from, are my tenants going to pay their rent or not? And we don't know. My wife is a property manager. She owns a very successful property management business with 500 units. And there's a lot of people not paying rent. I mean, a lot. So what is my call to investors? My call to investors is, hey, Jim Remley with ABC Real Estate, did some deep research this morning. I see you in a duplex over on 3rd Street. I'm just talking to investors today about, how they're feeling about the eviction moratorium. How is it started to impact you guys yet? That alone is they're going to be like, wow, they're going, yes, I can't believe they did that. It's the dumbest thing ever. They're going to get into conversation about that. And then it's going to follow a little bit of the same path as the Airbnb, but I'm going to say, hey, listen, I just want to ask you, has anybody talked to you about the opportunities there are for maybe readjusting your loan? Because there's two things that I'm talking to all my investors about, which is forbearance and loan modification. So forbearance means that the lender's going to give you some grace. In other words, maybe do some interest-only payments with you, maybe allow you to skip a couple of payments and make them up later. Loan modification means you're kind of rewriting the entire loan. But almost all lenders are open to it, especially with investors. Have you had that conversation with your lender yet? Most will have not even heard of that, number one. And so they're going to be like, this guy's calling me with good, solid, actionable ideas that are value added. And then I'll follow it up and say, and then I've just got to ask, would you consider selling these properties for the right price? I do have several investors I'm working with that are in the market to buy properties at fair market value. And then the last part of that is, and listen, if you're not interested in selling, if you'd like me to put you in a pool of other investors where I tell you about the hottest buys that are hitting the market every week, I'd love to do it. So there's, one of those three paths is going to work. And the beauty of investors is that they're not going to do something once. They are a serial client, and those are the best kinds of clients, like a builder. A serial client is somebody who's going to do business with you again and again and again and again. Either they're buying or selling, but they're doing it multiple times a year. Imagine that I build my inventory of 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 investors in my corral. My business is going to completely transform very rapidly.
Yeah. Wow. Powerful. Can you give us the cream of the crop? What's the best one that you love right now that you can take advantage of? I'm thinking more maybe on, what could I do with, where's the opportunity, buyer, more residential, buyer, seller. What could I do? Talk to my client about to get them to sell or get them to buy, or any thoughts around that, especially with our agents. And I know you love focusing in on both agents, but you're really good with the brokers too, and be able to help the whole brokerage. But and in fact, we're going to talk later about how maybe you can help my brokerage and what we're doing and what I'm connected with. But what's something what comes to mind on that, Jim?
Well, a lot of things. For sellers and buyers, you're going to have a group of people that have a need or they have a want, right? A
Mhm.
want, as I started to allude to in the beginning of this section, and I lost it, but here it comes back. A want is like, I kind of want to do something, but it's not like critical, right?
Yeah,
So, but a need is like, I gotta do something, like it's imperative that I do something. So
yeah,
people that are in the want kind of category may decide that they're just going to put off doing something until after the crisis.
yeah,
Large percentage of them are. But there's going to be a group of people that still need to buy and need to sell, and they're going to keep pushing forward. I liken it to a winter market.
yeah,
Very few buyers slog through the rain, sleet, and snow, but the ones that do are serious buyers,
yeah,
right? They are going to buy. And the
right,
same is true with sellers. Sellers that keep their homes on the market, through Thanksgiving and Halloween and Christmas and Hanukkah or whatever,
yeah,
they are serious sellers. So
yeah.
there's a group of people out there that want to sell, a group of people that want to buy. Now, you're going to get some objections at this time, and I'm going to give you some ways to handle that. So
Okay, right.
the objection from a buyer might be, or the concern, I don't even call it an objection because it is a true concern. So the
Sure.
concern might be, Jim, I'm concerned about going out and looking at houses right now. I want to buy something. I want to take advantage of these 40-year lows in interest rates, but geez, I don't want to put my health at risk either.
Right.
So my answer to that is totally understand. This is all personal decision making you'll have to make, but can I share with you how we're doing it? It might make you feel a little bit better.
Mhm.
So here's how we're doing it. We're doing a video walkthroughs,
Mhm.
and that is where I will go to each property that you choose, and I'll do a video walkthrough. I'll be your eyes and ears, and it will be live. So we can do that with WhatsApp. We can do it with Messenger, FaceTime. We'll walk through the house. You tell me what you want to look at, and I'll show it to you. So we can take a list of 10 properties and narrow that down to the one or two that you want to see. So you take your risk way down, and
Yeah.
then we can come and look at those properties together. But let me tell you how we're doing that. I've got a 10-step list of how we're going to do that,
Wow.
exactly how we're going to keep you safe. I wrote it all down for you.
Wow.
So I don't. Okay, here it goes. You ready? And this
Yeah.
will help sellers feel more comfortable too.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I'll say to the buyer, I'm going to give them, I call it the stay home, stay healthy initiative, right? The stay
Yeah.
clean, stay healthy.
Right.
So number one is we're going to make sure you're pre-qualified to buy a house, number one. So I
Yeah.
don't want you going out and risking your health or anything else without
Yeah.
being pre-qualified, knowing you can buy it. That's number one. And it's going to make sellers feel better about letting you come into a house on those one or two that we've narrowed it to. But let me give you the 10 steps here.
Yeah.
Second is we're going to do a health questionnaire. The health questionnaire is going to make sellers feel more comfortable, but we're going to ask it of the seller too. And the health questionnaire is 3 simple questions. Have you had a fever or cough? Have you been ill? Have you traveled outside the country? And does anybody, you or anybody else, have COVID-19 or they were tested positive? And we want to ask the seller that. I'm going to tell you that, and I'm going to ask you that, so everybody feels comfortable that's in this transaction, or that not this transaction, but is in this process.
Yeah.
Third is I'm going to do that video tour with you so that you can decide if you want to see it or not in person.
Yeah.
Fourth is I'm going to have the seller open all the doors and turn on all the lights so we don't have to touch anything when we walk in the house.
Mhm.
Fifth is I'm going to ask you when you come into the house, put your hands in your pockets. You're not going to touch anything in the house. Okay. Sixth is I'm going to stay 6 feet apart from you. Okay. And we're going to maintain social distancing. Seventh is we're only going to have 2 people in the house at the same time. Eighth is I'm going to have gloves for you and booties in every house. And I'm going to provide hand sanitizer. Ninth, I'm going to follow behind you and wipe everything down. And then 10th is I'm going to ask the seller to do the same thing. So we protect everybody as much as possible. How do you feel about that after what I've just told you? And you just said,
In with me. I want to stay healthy like that and have everybody clean up after me. It's
right.
like, you got it, man. Do I feel good about that? That is just 10 amazing steps on that. And hopefully everybody jotted it down. And if not, how can we get a hold of you? We're going to still continue here, but here's a good, a time to, Jim, you're the man in the know. You've already given us some real live things on how to, and we'll get to the seller next. But how's it best to get a hold of you so that we could find out more about your services, and especially on, I just love this, erealestatecoach.com. It's just a marvelous way to be able to really get good meat like we're getting today. That's what all of that training that you have, is available. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
So the easiest, a couple of different ways. First of all, on social media, you can find me everywhere at eRealEstateCoach. So just use that. whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, love to connect with you there. So Real Estate Coach. And then if you go to the website, there is a contact me section there. So you can contact me directly through that. Just fill out the form. And I always respond directly. So you're getting a direct response from me. It's not one of my staff people doing it. It's actually me. And we actually have a really one of the most affordable coaching programs in the country for agents. And we give it to them 14 days free. Just test it out, do a test drive, and they can come in and, experience all of our mastery classes. We do live coaching like this every single week on our coaching platform. Wow. So we're just dropping, information in real time all the time.
Wow. That's just fabulous. That is awesome. And I appreciate that. And that's a great bonus again on the 14-day free test drive. So we talked about the buyers and what do we do with the sellers? How do we get them motivated to, keep it up?
So the one thing to remember about all sellers is that most sellers, not all sellers, but most sellers, I'd say 90% of sellers are actually buyers in disguise, right? So they are actually sick of where they're living. That's why they listed it, and they're going to move somewhere else. That's what they're doing. So we forget that, and we kind of don't stay in tune with that, but that's what's happening. Yeah. So with sellers, my conversation with the sellers is to be like, if Hank, you're my seller, I'll say, Hank, I know you're on the fence about listing your house. I totally understand with what's going on. A lot of people I'm talking to feel exactly the same way. But when we dig in the market, I want you to know something, that the market is still very active and we're still selling homes. So there's still demand out there. There is some ways that we're mitigating risk. And then I go through the top 10 ways. I'm not going to go through it again, but those are the ways. But here is a couple of advantages for you that you might think about a little bit. One is that a lot of sellers are not coming to market right now just because they're concerned. And so there's less competition. And when there's less competition, it's actually a good thing for you. Less competition means that the buyers that are out there have less to look at. Often sellers get more money, not less, when there's less to look at. And buyers right now are experiencing 40-year lows on interest rates. So every time the interest rate goes down, your ability to get top dollar goes up because they can afford to spend more. But even if you threw all that away and you said, I don't care, I would say you still should consider doing this. And I'll tell you why. The biggest reason isn't for you on the selling side, it's you on the buying side. Because when we sell your house, we're going to find you another house to buy, and you're going to be able to lock in 40-year interest rate lows that we won't see again in our lifetime. I have not seen in 30 years these kinds of lows, even through the Great Recession. So this is your opportunity to lock in those lows. Your decision, but if we follow the path of everyone else, we're going to be entering the market when everyone else does. And you're going to see this super surge of listings come on the market with all the spring and all the summer listings combined at the same time. And you talk about competition. There'll be mass competition.
That just love it. Man, I'll go ahead and sell.
Good news. I love it. Now, on the selling side too, here's what I'm recommending to all listing agents is that you have a conversation about the virtual technology too. And you say, listen, I'm doing some things that, we typically don't do all the time on every listing, but I am doing it now in this market. And one of those things is we're creating either a Matterport video, which is a 360-degree view of the home Matterport video, and or a video walk through the house. So you'll have my videographer over here, and that'll do is that we can post that so buyers don't necessarily have to come to the house as often as frequently, unless they're super serious, super qualified. They've already video walked through the house. They've already done a Matterport video of the house, and they've said, yes, this is something we want to look at. And then the other thing we're talking a lot about with sellers too is virtual open houses, which are becoming extremely popular. Yeah,
great, awesome. Well, it sounds good to me. That is like good stuff. Can we have one more?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I'll give you as much as you want.
One more.
So another super important thing right now is your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence is your number one. It's always your number one source of business. 8 out of 10 of your sales will come from your sphere. So if you are not, you should be completely leaning into your sphere right now, because if you think about any crisis that you have in your family, whether there's a death, whether there's a sickness or illness, anything that's going on in your family, what happens is people want to be closer in a crisis. So connection in a crisis is actually more important. So my recommendation to everyone is you should be reaching out to your sphere of influence, not just once through this crisis, but every week through this crisis.
Yeah.
And you can do that in several ways. But one way is to reach out and talk to people about what's going on with them and if they've been laid off or have been lost their jobs. And this is a huge group. I mean, 10 million people have lost their jobs already.
Right.
So there is multiple people in your database that have lost their jobs, not just one or two, but multiple people. And if they haven't, they know someone that has. So my conversation with them would be, hey, I just want to reach out to you today, say how's it going? How you guys doing with all this coronavirus craziness?
Yeah.
Now, it's important to frame it that way, Hank, because there's some people in your database that still think this is some kind of great conspiracy or hoax, something like that. I don't know. And then there's going to be another group that are like, I want to be in a bubble all day long. So you have two differing opinions. I don't take a position. I don't need to take a position. How are you dealing with all this coronavirus craziness? And they're going to say, oh my gosh, this is going on, that's going on.
Yeah.
And my script this week is to say, hey, I totally understand. Can I tell you what we're doing at my house to lighten it up a little bit? And they're going to say yes. And I said, well, here's what we're doing tonight. And this is true. This is actually true. Tonight we're doing a Zoom Balderdash family game night. So we're going to play Balderdash on a Zoom. And we're just going to see if it works. I don't know if it'll work or not. We're going to try it. See if you try it. And then I say, and I got a bunch of poker players in my house. And so we've all downloaded the same poker app. And we're going to all go into the same room and play poker every Tuesday night at 7:00. Whoever wins, all of us have to send $20 to the winner. So, what do you guys do at your house? And then I'll say, listen, the real reason for my call, though, seriously, is I just wanted to see if you know of anybody that's been, has lost their employment, like has lost their job, been laid off. Have you guys had that? What's going on with you? Do you know anybody in your family? The reason I wanted to bring it up is because there's a couple things that might help. One is, and I'll go back into forbearance and modification on the lending side, and then I'll talk about eviction moratoriums. I can spin it to a positive if there's a renter that they know.
Right.
And I'll say, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to have conversations with anyone I'm here to be a servant. Let me know how I can help.
That's great. That's great. Well, I love it. Is there? We have a few minutes remaining here, and I mean, this is so valuable for everybody. And this idea about connecting, and I just love on how you lead here with heart, Jim. And how can I help? And to be able to connect and be a friendly ear, to hear what they're saying. These are challenging times, and you're right. There's people I had. We're doing now. Things virtually. And so we're able to have more people on. And so we're doing a mastermind on Tuesdays. And on Wednesdays, we're doing and so this was like last week, and every week we're doing it. And Wednesday for the whole public and everybody, it's not just real estate. And this lady was on Wednesday and talking about, I am terrified to leave my apartment. So you have these people that are, hey, I want to just stay in this bubble and nothing. And then we had other people like, hey, we're,
we're at Costco.
We got more business than ever. And, so yeah, you get it. And to be sensitive to that, because, there are, these can be challenging times. But again, for us to look, we can only control our own thoughts, our own feelings. And so as we control it, and I love you use the word to lighten up, and this whole idea on really for all of us to lighten up. And I opened the show up with, let's just call it change, instead of calling it all this, it's just change, and it's a big change, and that means big opportunity. And you shared with us specifically on how real estate agents and brokers can leverage that. Could you, and I know you just have all kinds of other points, but these are good enough meat, I think, for everybody. Can you share with us a little, you shared a little bit more about just on how your erealestatecoach.com on how that works. What are the things about it, just to kind of help us understand, would I really want to jump in on this?
Yeah, for sure. So the evolution of eReal Estate Coach really quickly is that I run a Real Trends Top 500 company. That means we're in the top 5% of all real estate companies in America.
Wow.
And just to give you some perspective on it, I'm not in LA or Boston or New York. I'm in a rural area of Oregon. So I'm in a population base of 80,000, and
Wow.
we're competing with companies across the country in some of the biggest cities in the country. So,
Okay.
our company did $912 million last year, and we have one of the highest per agent productivity rates in the country. So I've often gotten the question from other brokerages, especially and agents as well, how do you create that level of production with my average agent does $6 million a year. I have people doing 60 million, 50 million, 40 million, 30 million. How do you do it? It's a lot of their hard work. But we also put together a great training platform for them. And what we've done is we've taken that training platform and built it out into what I call the Netflix of coaching. So there's literally hundreds of video lessons that somebody could tap into, from FSBOs and expires and investors and builders and sphere of influence and business planning, you name it, it's in there, listing presentations. And so you're able to go in and watch a series of videos on any topic.
Wow.
And then as you're watching the video, though, what makes our system is unique in this way, in that you can watch the video, but as I'm talking, you can actually see all the downloads, all the scripts, all the texts, all the emails, all the drip campaigns, the social media posts. You can download, plug and play instantly.
Wow.
And you can use that in your market within minutes of hearing the idea.
Yeah.
And then we've added three things this year, which have really supercharged it. One is we've added live coaching, kind of like what we're doing here every Monday for our students. So 30 to 40 minutes of really relevant, timely, now kind of information. And then we've created video challenges to challenge people, because there's a lot of people that get edutained. So it's like they love watching, they love the energy, but then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So we're challenging people with video challenges.
Yeah.
And then the third thing we've added is a component called our 5x5. So the 5x5 is we hand curate and deliver to you 5 of the best scripts in the country every single week for contacting your sphere of influence. So we give you text scripts, email scripts, we give you voice scripts, video scripts for you to reach out. So you never have a time where you're like, I don't know what to say. No, we're giving you what to say. You can make these calls, because we know all your business, not all your business, but 8 out of 10 of your closings will come from that. And then we've also, I'm really proud of our brokerage level coaching. So any agent can plug into this at an agent level, as I said, 14 days free. And then brokerages can choose to do it for their whole brokerage. And what they receive is one-on-one coaching with me to help on all aspects of their brokerage. And then the entire brokerage receives all of that path coaching as well.
Wow, that's fabulous. Just absolutely love it. That's great. Could just in closing, what would you say is, what would you like to leave us with? What wisdom, Jim, that, with just everything you've shared with us is so valuable today. What would you like to leave us with to maybe put a little step in our walk, or
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Counsel.
So
yeah,
I would love to just leave with this, and that is 3 words: hope, faith, and time. So hope, faith, and time are so important. What people look for from leaders, and we're all leaders, we're all leading our own businesses, is they want you to give them a glimmer of hope. They want you to be a leader. And the way you can lead is by communicating. And we're communicating by video to our databases all the time, and really communicating, hey, listen, here's what you can be hopeful for. Here's the positives. Here's the joy that I want to bring. So hope. And then faith. Faith means that you have faith in what you sell. And faith, and if you're a person of faith, whatever your faith, what your belief system is, we all have faith at some level, in something. But when I'm talking from a business perspective, I'm talking about being convicted about real estate and it being the best investment on earth. You have to believe it, because the first person you have to sell is yourself. You have to 1,000% believe that there is nothing better than anyone can do for themselves than own a home. And you've got to actually believe in that. And the last thing I'll leave you with is time. Time, we've been given a gift in this crisis, and you have to start looking at this as, what is this crisis giving to me? Not what is it taking away? What is it giving to me that I haven't had? And the thing that it's giving to all of us is time.
Mm.
We often say outside of this crisis, I never have enough time. I'm too busy. I'm running here to there to this and that. And I'll
Right.
give you one classic example of this. My wife and I have a little bit of a commute to our offices every day. And when you calculate it, it's about an hour each. But total drive,
Yeah.
going to work, coming back, we burn about an hour each. So that's 2 hours for us
Yeah.
when you add it up a day.
Yeah.
And that's 16 hours a week that we've been, or not 16 hours, that's 10 hours a week that we've been given back.
Yeah.
And if I said, what am I going to invest that time into?
Mm.
Am I going to invest in lead generation? Am I going to learn a new skill? Am I going to get really good with my CRM? Am I going to dive into social media marketing? Am I going to, just create an incredible system behind my business? What am I going to do with this gift of time I've been given back? What will happen with many agents is they'll squander that time. They'll watch Netflix. They'll lay around in bed. They'll sleep in. They work every day. But the agents that are committed, that are continuing to work, are going to have dramatic changes. There's actually a great separation happening.
Yeah.
And the great separation will be agents that use this as an opportunity and agents that want to play the victim role.
Boy.
Don't be a victim, be a winner, be a player.
There you go, Jim. Absolutely. Jim Remley, just an amazing knowledge. And I love, we're so similar minded, and you'll see that our audience is too, on that hope, faith, and time, and that positive attitude. And yeah, this gave us more time. Now, what are we going to do with that time? That I always get a kick out of, whatever we say, we end up becoming, and our thoughts become things. And so a lot of people have been saying through the years, gee, I'm too busy, or I don't have enough time.
Right.
So you hit it right on the nail there that, yeah, we all have plenty of time right now, that we're all at home. And so what are we going to do with it? And why don't we all go visit Jim Remley and to understand his realestatecoach.com and how you can take your business to the next level. So with that, Jim, we thank you so much for being on the show today. Just fabulous. We know how to get a hold of you. That just filled with lots of heart too, and not only that knowledge and expertise, but lots of heart. So we thank you, and to all of you, that we wish you the best. That know that this is a big, huge opportunity for all of us to have closer relationships with our family, to be able to build our business, to be able to think about what will be, and know that our futures are all getting better and better. So with that, for Jim and I, we thank you. God bless you all. Take care. Bye-bye.